Good day, thank you for joining us. In today's tutorial, we will discuss the general principles of the Codes of Good Practice, or Statement 000, and also the purpose of the Codes of Good Practice. Here with me again in studio today is Roxanne Mancini, a business owner. Welcome, Roxanne. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, Jacques. So the first question I have for you today is what is the purpose of the Codes of Good Practice? What objectives does it aim to achieve?
The Codes of Good Practice, in essence, is to guide enterprises or companies wishing to obtain verification to lay down the foundation and the guidelines which they need to adhere to. Basically, the Codes of Good Practice can be described as the handbook for BEE, with all the key principles, and also it sets out the thresholds that we've spoken about for the different categories of enterprises.
And when were these codes brought into law? When were they promulgated?
As it is with any other legislation, it will be amended from time to time.
That's right.
Yes. So the initial Codes of Good Practice were promulgated in 2007. These were later replaced by the amended Codes of Good Practice in October 2013. And after these amendments, we had some additions to the amendments, which took effect on the 1st of December 2019. And within these amendments, certain changes or amendments were made to some of the elements, although not every single element. So Statement 000 had a few amendments, Statement 300, the skills development element, Statement 400, the enterprise and supply development element, and also Schedule 1, or the definitions of the Codes of Good Practice, had a few amendments. So the Codes of Good Practice of 2013 and the amendments which took place or were brought into effect on the 1st of December should be read together when verification or when the codes are considered, yes.
I'm glad you mentioned Statement 000 because that's a question that I have for you. What exactly is the purpose of that statement?
So Statement 000 is like I've said, the foundation of the Codes of Good Practice. So it's the first building block to the rest of the elements. So it makes provision for the basics of BEE.
There's one thing I'd like you to elaborate on. Within Statement 000, there's reference made to misrepresentation. What is all that about?
So misrepresentation is a criminal offense to start with. So the BEE Act, I believe it's Section 13, makes provision for misrepresentation. So what it entails basically, it's when a measured entity divides or separates or splits its enterprise in order to circumvent the Codes of Good Practice. So normally why they would do this is to be measured against more lenient codes. Instead of being measured against, let's say for instance, the generic scorecard of the BEE Codes of Good Practice, they would have to fill out an affidavit.
So as in all things legal, BEE being a piece of legislation, one must be very careful of misrepresentation. And I think if you're unsure, rather get an expert opinion in. But thank you for that, and thank you for the information that you've shared with me today. I've definitely learned a lot and look forward to many more conversations around BEE.
Thank you, Roxanne.